All right, welcome back. Former President Trump still trying to get some mileage out of President Biden's garbage comments. Take a look at this.
That the comment made by really both of them, because there are really two of them, about being garbage, maybe 250 million people, they shouldn't be talking. That's like deplorable for Hillary. This is the deplorable for Hillary. And I think this is worse, actually. How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
He looked like he was actually having a lot of fun yesterday in the garbage truck. And I just saw an interview with the driver of the garbage truck. And when Donald Trump apparently got inside the truck, he told the driver, he said, "Hey, do you think we could swing through McDonald's?" And the driver said, "I don't think it'll fit through the drive-thru, sir." And I guess Donald Trump made a joke and said, "It's okay, I used to work there." Anyway, so he rolled up to his rally in Green Bay in that garage truck. He also wore the orange vest on stage for his speech. And you know, you guys saw this. President Biden called Trump supporters garbage during that virtual Zoom meeting while Vice President Harris was just outside the White House, basically on Joe Biden's lawn, giving her closing argument speech on the ellipse. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, she has now been, I guess, drafted to lead the spin operation about Joe Biden's garbage remarks. Here's what she said at the White House press briefing.
I'm not going to get into specific here. It's not unusual for a president or the vice president or any elected official to have notes in front of them when they're speaking to a crowd or to a group of people. That is not unusual. What I can say is the president wanted to make sure that his words were not being taken out of context, and so he wanted to clarify, and that's what you heard from the president. He was very aware, and I would say I think it's really important that you have a president that cares about clarifying what they said.
Wow, I mean, sometimes I'm just amazed. Kate Monroe at Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House, and the fact that she does it too, like with that little bit of condescension, like how dare you question us? The president was very clear about what he said. And I think in this case he was very clear. Kate Monroe, you can't add an apostrophe, you can't correct the transcript after the fact. We know what he said. And this has basically become the Democrats' closing argument, that they're elites, they're too cool for trash. You saw Ian Sams, too, White House spokesman, saying that the garbage truck moment and McDonald's moment were like two Dukakis moments. Maybe he's the one who's out of touch.
I mean, I actually think that he did it on purpose. And follow me on this. He did this while Kamala was out talking. This is not the first time. He has been silently sabotaging her. He's very salty that they shoved and forced him out. He does have some dementia, and he has a lot of slippage. But this thing that he is doing is intentional. Why else do it while she is out talking, trying to have her own moment? He absolutely did it. He meant to say what he said. He served up Trump the ability to troll Kamala Harris at a 10x level. He Grant Cardone'd this moment for Trump, and I could not be more impressed. Great work, Joe Biden. You definitely helped Trump get an edge.
See, I would stop short of this being like intentional. I don't know if Joe Biden can do a lot of things intentionally, and I think there are a lot of nervous people, White House staffers, about his legacy and what it's going to look like. I do think you do have a point, Kate. Joe Biden looked out the window at the White House, saw 75,000 people there at the ellipse, gathered to hear a speech he hoped to be giving, and he was mad. And this is how it came out. There are a lot of Democrat left-leaning pundits, Kate, that talk about the things that Donald Trump says about Kamala Harris. He calls her a Marxist. He says things about her, too. And I get all that. But what you don't have with the Harris campaign are these moments of levity, like Donald Trump doing the whole honking sign in the truck. And what leaks out, you guys may have seen this video, Kamala Harris was on Air Force Two, and she's yawning. She looks completely exhausted. Like, you look at how these folks are closing the race. One campaign seems to be having a lot of fun. The other one seems to be in panic mode. And I want to play a clip here. This is Tim Walz. He was also asked about Biden's garbage comments, and if it undermines the message they're trying to get across. They want us all to believe that they're running on unity. But here's what Walz said.
No, certainly not. And for Tony, for me, I've represented rural areas. I've represented Democrats, Republicans, independents. Same thing with the vice president. And I think there's the frustration we've seen since January 6th, the frustration with Donald Trump's rhetoric of division. It does fire passions. And I think President Biden was very clear that he's speaking about the rhetoric. We heard it. That so it doesn't undermine it. People are hungry to come back together. They're hungry to find a unifying message.
so sick and tired of politicians when they try to correct the message, telling us that someone was very clear. Obviously, dude, he wasn't very clear. He hasn't been very clear for about the last 3.5 years. I think a lot of people are just sick and tired of Tim Walz and other people telling them, oh, he was very clear about what he said, when we know what he said. And it wasn't what Tim Walz is saying.
Well, he was very clear about what he said. He's called Trump supporters garbage. He was clear about it. And maybe it's him that's feeling like garbage because they try to take him out like trash. You know, maybe he is Team Trump. I mean, you saw the man put on a red hat when Kamala said that Governor DeSantis wouldn't talk to her. Biden made sure 2 seconds later to say that the man had his private cell phone and that he was doing a great job. He is undercutting her every chance he gets. All of it is intentional. But the funniest part is you have Trump getting to make these huge moments off of the comedy that they're giving him. Meanwhile, she's at her rally saying Donald Trump and Trump about 500 times. In fact, he played a clip of it spliced together. If all you got is Orange Man bad, but he has every single solution and the MAGA Avengers, people that he has put together like Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard, Dr. Phil showed up for him, Joe Rogan, JD Vance, you have all these A-list people and all they got is Trump sucks. Well, good luck to you.
Yeah, one of the funny talking points, too, here is when Democrats are like, oh, Republicans are snowflakes because they were called garbage. But they're leaning into it. They're having fun with it. They're joking about it. Like you, Kate, you're going to wear a trash bag, I guess, for Halloween tonight and a MAGA hat. Is Jimmy Kimmel trying to suppress GOP votes? Take a look at this.
Vote early, vote early. If you can't vote early, vote on time. If you want to vote for Trump, vote late, vote very late. Do your voting on Thursday or maybe Friday.
Obviously, this is a joke, and we're not saying Jimmy Kimmel should go to prison, but we do want to point out that social media influencer Douglas Mackey was convicted for suppressing the vote in 2016 through a quote-unquote disinformation campaign. He actually spent 7 months in prison, and you know, he basically did the same thing Jimmy Kimmel is doing, except he said vote early if you want to vote for Hillary Clinton, and he provided a number where you could text things. Again, I don't think Jimmy Kimmel should go to prison, but I do think this story highlights a massive double standard here. Well, Kate, what do you think about next Tuesday? I know you live out in California. I watched some clips of the Steve Garvey, Adam Schiff debate, and Steve Garvey owned Adam Schiff, not unlike the LA Dodgers owned the Yankees in the World Series. But what's your read on the situation out there? I know there's some key House races for the GOP as well.
I think that we'll do really well in every area but the presidency. I think that we'll pick up a lot of seats. There will be a little bit of, small red tide here in California. I don't think that Trump will overtake and actually win this state. But I'll tell you what, if it weren't for LA and San Francisco, he absolutely would. There's a big movement. There's a current of red flowing through, especially here in San Diego. It's a big military town, a lot of veterans here. There's a lot of, red-leaning people, if you will. But I do think that everywhere else but California, all of these swing states that typically could go blue, I think he's going to pick up way more swing states than anybody has even imagined. I think that there's already so much early voting that shows that he is already the president, if you will, that I think that he's going to do very well. I
know a lot of people a little apprehensive about predicting red waves or red tsunamis after what happened in 2022. And the polls not always lining up with the way things look at this time. We, of course, will all be watching very closely. Just a little bit left to go. Our thanks to Mark Vargas and Kate Monroe for being with us today. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you.